In the last video, we talked about local and global data item. Now in this video, we'll talk about process stage. So here you can see, currently we have one process, that is first process. So as of now, you have learned how to call any other pages which is created in the same process. Now, if I want to use other process in the master process, so how can we call that process? This is the process stage which is used to invoke other process in the main process. So if we'll invoke any existing process here, then this will be the main process, or like you can say that will be the master process and the other will be the child process. So if we'll double click on this process, here we have an option to select a process which we want to call, which we want to use here. So let me take one example which can help you to understand why do we need to use process stage. In this scenario, read data from Excel, add items to queue, read calculation type, and if it is add, then perform add steps, and if it is subtract, then perform subtract steps. We can divide this complete scenario in 3 steps. First, read data from Excel and add items to queue. Second step, we can read calculation type, if it is add, perform add steps. Third, read calculation type, if it is subtract, then perform subtract steps. Sometime what happens in the companies, client will ask you, sometimes they will ask that I have thousands of only data for addition, I don't want to run subtraction, or I don't want to run add items to queue part. Then how will you do that? If subtract is on the first number and add is on the second number, then first it will come with the subtract. To overcome this issue, we have process. If we write this step in page, then that will not be the solution. Let me show you how to do that. So here I have this first process. You can consider this is the master process, right? And in this master process, first, here I am not going to currently talk about add items to queue, but you can understand we already have data. So first we are going to take for, this is for addition, and I am going to take one for the subtraction. So for that I am going to create one more process. So right click on this, create a new process, and I can say this is for subtraction. Now here I am going to write one calculation. I will take here, double click on this, and then I need 2 values. Okay. And let me put some value, like here we have 12 and here we have 10. In the calculation, what we need to write, subtract number 1 minus number 2 and write in subtract. So currently if we will run this separately, it will perform the subtraction and we will get here 2. Now just save this, subtract added, save changes, close this. Now in the first process, that is the master process, I have written steps to perform add. So add is already written in this page, but I am going to now call subtraction separately. This one, I will just click on process, select subtract, and here I can write subtract process and click OK. Now link this. Now in this scenario you can see, currently if I will run this complete master process, so it will go with this. Step into, it will come to the add page, it will perform all these things. Now it will come to the subtract process. It means it will open the existing subtract process and then it will complete all these things, right? So you can see here. So by this way, this is the master process. We can complete addition and subtraction on the main process. Now, as I told you that if client has requested to run only subtract part, then how will I do that? So currently using this first process, using this master process, I will not able to run that, because if I will run this here, like from the control room, you don't need to run from here, I'm just giving you an example. If you will run this, so it will always go with the add, and if you already have data in the queue for the addition, it will first process all the addition part, then it will go with the subtraction. So it will take your time. But client is saying that I don't want to process add today, I want to just process subtraction process today. Addition part will be performed tomorrow, right? So you can understand this one. So if I will run this, it will start from this. So this is not the solution. So what we can do in this scenario, let me first save this. I can write here process subtract added. So here you can see we have now two processes. There might be a scenario your client will say that you just want to run add, so you can create a separate process for add also, right? So that any time in future if they are saying that I want to run only subtract or add, so how will you do that? You will just double click on this and you will just reset this and run this. So only subtraction will be performed. And if you have a scenario where you have to run the full process, the complete process, you can go with the master process, right? In the next video, we'll talk about how to pass value from one process to another process.